preacher named Rick Ashley one time said something like this: God values obedience over knowledge. Many of the people in the Bible had no idea what was coming next, but they knew the next right thing. And that's what got them through. I really like that idea. That God doesn't necessarily need us to know everything. We don't have to understand everything, but we need to do the good we know we can do, and we need to do the next right thing. I may have referred to this before, but I love the story of Joseph, found in Genesis chapter 37, and it goes to the end of the book of Genesis chapter 50. In Joseph's life, he had all kinds of things that went wrong, but yet he kept doing the next right thing. So if you want to go look this up sometime, you'll find that in chapter 37, his brothers are jealous of him because his dad likes Joseph better than the rest of them. And so they decide to kill him. And then they change their mind. Instead of killing him, they sell him to some people who are going to Egypt. They sell him as a slave. Joseph ends up in Egypt against his will, but he does the next right thing. He does what he can do. And so he's honored for doing that. And God looks after him, and God cares for him, and he's blessed, and he rises up to be a household manager for a very powerful man in Egypt. But then he's accused by the man's wife of doing some inappropriate things which he didn't do, gets thrown in jail. It's a bad place to be, but he does the next right thing, and he helps people who are in the jail. As he's in jail helping people, he comes across the baker and the cupbearer of the Pharaoh of Egypt, and he helps them. They tell him that when they get out, because of his help, they're going to come back and help him. They're going to get him out of jail, but they forget about him. But Joseph does the next right thing and continues to do what he can do. And eventually, when Pharaoh really needs some help, the cupbearer and the baker remember that, and they say, there's a guy who can help you. And so then Joseph is brought back out of jail, and he rises to be the second most powerful man in Egypt because he keeps doing the next right thing. Long story short, there's a great big famine in the country, in the world, and people are coming to Egypt to get some food, and guess who comes to get some food and begs Joseph to help him? His brothers come and ask for his help. Joseph could have been vindictive, he could have been mean, but instead he does the next right thing and he forgives his brothers and he helps them. And he does this because he continues to know that God is looking after him, even when he doesn't know what his circumstances are going to be the next time things change. But he does note to them in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, he says this: "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Because Joseph kept doing the next right thing, God was blessing him, and God was using him, and God was taking care of him, and God was helping him get to the next place where he could do the next right thing. I don't know what your circumstances are in this whole corona thing. I don't know whether life hasn't changed much or it's completely upside down. But can I encourage you that regardless of our circumstances, whether we know what's coming or not, the next thing you can do is the next right thing. God honors obedience over knowledge. Can we respond to him today, trusting that he will bless us in the future?